Romantic attraction is the next section we're going to take a look at. And the first thing we want to start with is the idea of proximity, physical attractiveness, similarity, reciprocal liking, resources, and technology. So I mentioned in the last video, just by the virtue of being near each other, you are more likely to build a relationship with somebody. I mean, if you're not around somebody very much, you don't have an opportunity to make connections, it's not going to happen there. So if they're present frequently, you have something called the mere exposure effect. And we have more of a tendency to be attracted to people that we have frequent contact with. So we go from proximity into physical attractiveness, and this one relates to one called the beautiful is good effect. Now, in this case, we have a tendency to see people that are beautiful as being more competent communicators, being intelligent, and being more well-adjusted. Now, is that true? Probably not, but we have a tendency to see them that way. So we might approach somebody in that way. And I mentioned before, there's lots of studies looking at physical attractiveness and people getting ahead in companies, getting promoted more often. There's a lot of elements that kind of go along with this. So we do have certain value for people that are attractive. And then matching, the idea that we are looking for somebody that is similar to us in attractiveness. You will hear people talk about, the trophy wife that's really beautiful, and then, the husband not so much, or vice versa. So they might marry somebody that that is very physically attractive to make them look like they have more status. But for the most part, most people will go for somebody that is more similar to them. Similarity, we talk about birds of a feather effect. In this case, there was this idea that opposites attract, but not so much. It's more looking for something that's similar. And I think for me, I'm much more likely to be attracted to someone that I have similarity with. And I think one of the reasons that we like things like similarities is that we have a certain level of predictableness in dealing with somebody that's similar to us. If somebody's really different from us, then we don't necessarily have a way to anticipate how they might react or respond in general. So we want people that have similar personalities and values and likes and dislikes. So I think it does help to find somebody in a situation where at least you have one thing in common. Find somebody doing something that you both like to do. The reciprocal liking suggests that research suggests that we tend to are more attracted to people who are attracted to us. So the book suggests several different articles that are talking about that, but it's a potent predictor about attractiveness. If you're attracted to me, I'm more likely to be attracted to you. Yes, this also looks at reciprocal liking leads us into resources. And some of the resources that are mentioned here in the text are humor, intelligence, kindness, supportiveness, and the perception that the person might be fun to hang with. Then also under this relates to what they call social exchange theory. And this looks at if we believe that the other person has benefits to us. So we're drawn to benefits and we don't want to have to put out a lot of costs. So what does that look like, and how valuable is that person based on their resources? So are they going to be offering better rewards, or can they get a better offer someplace else? So it's kind of breaking it down in sort of an unpleasant view, but there's these kinds of things that are kind of going on under the radar in our brain, where we may not necessarily realize them on a conscious level. But we're looking for kind of the balance between benefits and costs. We want to have those elements be a little bit more equal as far as how they relate to each other. And technology is interesting. I mentioned that I had signed up on one of the dating services years ago, and just having the opportunity to go through and look at somebody else's profile, and they don't think they even had any pictures on there at the time. So this particular one, I don't think there were any pictures at all. I think it was just a description. I'm trying to remember what it was like back then. I did have to take a long survey to find somebody that was a good match for me. I didn't think any of the information that they said was about me. This is who we think you are. And I'm like, that is nothing like who I am. So I don't know if I answered the questions incorrectly or their survey was off, or I don't know, but it wasn't necessarily the most positive experience for me. But now with the way that you guys have things are set up currently, there is more of an opportunity to see information about people. You guys can swipe right, swipe left. I mean, I think in those kinds of situations, you're kind of inviting people catfishing or people to set themselves up looking better than they're supposed to, because they won't even get swiped on. And I would imagine that a person's self-esteem would get a little wrapped up in that. Like, if no one swipes on them, like, what's wrong with me? So I think there would be those elements that would fall along with it. But there's so many sources and resources out there now where you could access information about the people that you maybe are attracted to. So I think the technology is kind of shifting the dating scene and how people are able to sort of connect with each other. That's it for this section.